This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Trump president?
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Come on! Fight the story! Okay. The broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Oh!
You're dead. You got to...
You can't be...
Snorted a bit, was just about to leave, when for years it had never occurred to him. This question would not go unanswered for long.
How do grannies knit shreddies? Oh, my ankles!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No! No! Ah! Well, that was lucky.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game?
Are you flipping kidding me?
Step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only
It's roomy. It feels like a Premier Inn, actually.
relevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5.
Oh, there's a spider!
Okay, new game.
Ah!
Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Oh my god, I played Portal in the Stanley Parable!
Yes. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here.
Wait! I've made a decision.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
But there is one question that you've not mentioned. Where did my legs go?